Welcome back, and let's talk about the monsoon, the kharif crops and agriculture. There have been monsoon concerns on yields, the low investment in agriculture, warehousing concerns. All of that really seems to be impacting the country. The erratic monsoon has brought about yield concerns for the kharif crop. Also, the limitation in investment and overall deficit in warehouse space mars the agriculture sector. We have with us Sandeep Sabharwal, Group CEO, Sohan Lal Commodity Management. Also joining us is Sunur Kaul, who is Director, Origo Commodities, to take this discussion forward. Well, both of you are important players in this sector. Sunur, let's start with you first. The monsoon impact on yields and crop, how do you see that? Because the monsoons were really erratic. We saw so many gaps coming in there. What crops and how much of a damage are we looking at right now?
Manisha, I guess the monsoon has treated us differently for different parts of the country. We've seen, lower rains in the southern part of the country, and for the impact on the crops on South India has been, has been variable, but it has impacted certain crops more than the others. In Andhra region, we see rice being, or paddy essentially being about 20 to 30% lower than what we had estimated earlier before the rains treated us the way they did. In terms of the crops around soybean and other crops towards the north, I think the rains have treated us fairly. I think the crops estimate are similar to what we had expected earlier as well. But I think towards the southern part of the country, we will see a lower estimate of the crops than what we had originally expected.
Sandeep, what's your sense? What crop damage are you assessing right now? What numbers are you working with?
I do believe that there would be some damage, but nothing which will be substantial to to impact the overall agricultural impact that India has.
Well, of course, as of now, we are working with 3% year-on-year more growth in a case of the kharif output there. But Sunur, according to you, what crops need more managing? What crops are you focusing on right now? And what are the strengths right in the sector?
So we are essentially looking at all the dry grains, grains, pulses, oilseeds. So what we are trying to do is manage with the crop that we have for rice in the southern part of the country. We're trying to go more interior in terms of where we source the crop from the farmers. Towards the northern part of the country for oilseeds, as well as for Karnataka region for maize. But oilseeds for MP and Rajasthan, we are fairly comfortable in terms of what crops are going to come. We don't expect a very big spike in terms of prices as well. Maize and rice, of course, given that it's predominantly in the southern part, except for Rajasthan, and a little bit for Maharashtra, I think there'll be certain impact in terms of price when the production starts. So we are careful in terms of what the paddy prices are going to be. The basmati paddy in particular, I think given that the exports have been sluggish as compared to what they have been in the past, I think the prices on the basmati paddy would be slightly lower, what we expect for the coming few months, and they have already started a downward trend. But I think the other varieties of rice, I think they'll have a stronger momentum in price when they start.
And even as we have that conversation, the latest numbers from IMD are flashing on your screens. Monsoon till time is 13% deficient till date is what the IMD has come out with just a few minutes back. But Sunil, just coming back to you, the government incentives, I mean, we keep talking about that. And as the government also said that they were more prepared this time around, the irrigation was better, and they have also released a lot of stock from their buffer. Do you think that's enough, or there's more desirable from the government in this kind of a situation?
I think, Manisha, you can't blame the government. I think there's little that the government can also do, given that, as you said, the monsoon has been erratic. So it's not been something that we could predict. There have been late rains that has damaged the crop as well. The rains were, in the southern part, we received the rains just now. There was a big gap in between as well. So I would say we can't really blame the government for not doing too much because most of the crops that we are having in this season are not exactly irrigated, and you can't use drip irrigation for rice, for example. So it's one of those things that I guess in the current scenario, I think everybody's trying to do the best they can. Government support at a farmer level continues to be there, same as before. But in terms of the non-irrigated lands, I think there's little that the government can do to change what we are facing currently.
Fair point. While the southern part of India and of course some parts of Northeast also have seen concerns this time around. Sandeep, what's your sense when we talk about agri-finance, and especially this time around, where have been the key focus from you?
So agri-finance, though we have seen that the government on subsequent across all budgets have been talking about agri-finance, the focus is rightly there. The impact analysis is yet to be done in terms of how much of impact is actually going down to the farmer. I believe that the thought behind the agri-finance is there in India, and it has been there for quite some time now. But I think the delivery modules have to be inspected again and have to be looked upon from a different perspective, because we do see a lack of execution happening in that, in that particular field.
Yes, another area that we keep talking about is the warehousing, Sanur. There have been constant issues on that one. Are your warehouses all accredited? I mean, what number would you really want to see in India when we talk about a comfortable number there?
So we manage close to about 3.5 million tons overall across about 15 states for different clients, including the government, FCI, Fungrain, multiple agencies, including state warehousing corporations across the country, and some of the private clients and farmers as well. What we have seen is, even though there is an overall deficit of warehousing space, I think it's being managed by a lot of the cap storage that most of the states in the north do. As well as for the critical grains, I think we have enough space to be able to store them in a closed warehouse. Cap storage is always risky for the government as well as for private bodies, but I think there is a limitation in terms of the amount of investment that has gone in. Recently, there has been less clarity from the government in terms of how the subsidy would be allocated, so there'll be a slowdown in terms of how the investments would be made in the warehousing space. We had large plans in terms of market infrastructure across the country, including private mandis as well. The lack of clarity has slowed us down and other players in the industry as well. And that will continue till the time I think the government gives a clear indication as to how the subsidy structure would work for both the market infrastructure as well as the warehouse structures.
Sandeep, what's your sense implementing this model? How well has it worked for yourself? And the major thing, inclusion, financial inclusion of farmers, do you see that happening via this?
So I will tackle this in three parts. First of all, let me tell you, this concept was initiated and formulated by this group about 3 years ago, though it was commercialized only a year back, because we took about 2 years just to research it thoroughly to understand what is required and where is the need. Rather than saying that we have a product and let's market it, our idea was that where is the need and let's just cater the need. Now, having said that, what we are also looking at it from a fact is that after we have implemented this model, which is we started about a year back commercially, during this time we have already done 252 crores of loans. And what is important is our ticket size ranges only from 50 lakhs to 5 crores. And in this journey of 252 crores, we have seen that we have done, financing across 40 plus kind of commodity locations, 25 commodities. We have served 9,770 storage receipts. And we did an impact analysis only on the farmers that we impacted till March of 2015. And we've seen that the 30,000 farmers have been impacted already in this deal. Now, one important thing that I would like to say is that yes, the field is so large that saying that we will take away the entire field is not the right thing to say. And we are seeing that other people are following, other NBFCs are following suit of the foundation of what we've already laid. And I believe that is I'll have the audacity to say that imitation is the best form of flattery. So I'm very happy that yes, there are people who are recognizing that this model works and they're just trying to copy it, because the fact of the matter is that the real financial inclusion to a farmer or to an integrator is not there in India as of yet.
Well, we really seem to be working with that, with both of you on the board with this. I mean, and I'm sure we are making progress there. But Sanur, a final point from you. Where should be the focus more be? What are your strategies? Is it the pricing? Is it the infrastructure? What does India need to look at currently when it comes to the agriculture sector?
What we are trying to do, Manisha, is we're trying to create a lot of market capabilities in the front end and a lot of sourcing capabilities at the back end. When I say market capabilities, we're trying to network and consolidate people who are either processor or consumer of goods. We're trying to create the right market infrastructure. There are a few initiatives that we're trying to do with the government of Andhra Pradesh in terms of either managing the government stock, or we're trying to create the market infrastructure, and across other states as well. We're trying to bring in efficiencies and controls wherever we can. In terms of sourcing, we're trying to create source points across the country so that the farmers can have a direct linkage with us and through us with the direct consumer. I think a lot can be done in terms of price control if we have that efficiency in terms of source and the market infrastructure. And I think that's where our participation along with the other private bodies would be useful.
Well, thumbs up to that, and thank you so much, Sandeep and Sunur. Both the companies, of course, Origo and SLC, working in agri-finance and infrastructure. Positive things coming across, and as they said, the government has been helpful, but there is so much yet to do when it comes to the agriculture sector in India. We will keep an eye on to that. But with currently now, that's all the time that we have on Hot Commodities. Thank you so much for watching.
Are you looking